The Vietnam War, a long, costly, armed conflict pitting the Viet Cong against the United States and its allies in the South. The United States was forced to withdraw in 1973, with over 3 million dead, including 58,000 Americans. Public viewpoint of this war was at an all-time low. It's a very controversial war, with draft techniques as well as tactics used in the battlefield sparking outrage among citizens. If they made it home at all, soldiers were welcomed by nothing but animosity. 4 years after the fall of Saigon, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund was established. The VVMF is a non-profit organization capable of establishing a memorial for the veterans of the war. Ground was officially broken on March 26, 1982. 1 year earlier, over 1,421 designs had been submitted in a contest held by the National Congress. Often referred to as the Black Gash, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was designed as a juxtaposition to the war. However, instead of providing a contrast to the war, it would follow a path that would spark much outrage and controversy. This is Rick Ellis. Rick Ellis is a retired paratrooper from Vietnam. He served 23 years in total. Next is Maya Lin. Maya Lin designed the memorial at the age of 21. Finally, we have Matt Gerber. Matt Gerber visited the memorial during an 8th grade field trip and will represent some of the viewpoints presented by many of the visitors today. Established on November 13, 1982, Maya Lin's memorial design would be marred with outrage for the days to come.
I feel like it's very bland. It could have been done better.
I like the design. I know that there's a lot of controversy about it. You know, a lot of the veterans thought, well, you know, it was kind of a slap in the face. It was a big hole in the ground. But I like it, you know, from what I can see of it and everything else. I like the reflective part of the granite. You know, I think it's nice. I think it's a fitting memorial.
Many people were disgusted by the design as it mirrored a napalm strike and seemed much more like a tombstone than a memorial.
Like I say, a lot of people have always thought that it was a slap in the face because it was just a big hole in the ground. I think that's kind of a derogatory. I think to me it's derogatory. I think, like I say, I think it's a fitting memorial. I like it.
I think there's a universalness to it. Maybe it's the psychology of what it is and how it's working. Where you begin, it's almost like the names rise up and you become a part of it, and it doesn't overpower you. And I think there are key things about it. I mean, I really don't want to go into it. It's a book out of doors. The text is made so it's less than a ½ inch thick. It was pretty much, I was told, you can't do that. Monument design is like, lettering has to be yay high. What happens when you put a book out of doors? You read it personally.
I feel like it does a good job individualizing all the people that put their lives on the line, because it's not just a statue, it's a wall with names on it.
Maya Lin views it as intimate, progressive, and introspective. However, many argue it does not glorify the dead and leaves them feeling cold and regretful. Many people were bothered, due in part to Maya Lin's ethnic background. While petty today, it was considered offensive by some to have an American memorial designed by someone of Oriental descent.
I feel like it doesn't really affect it. I feel like she designed a good memorial and the people who were constructing it felt like it was a good design, then that's just fair.
You know, there was a competition for that memorial. You know, and she won it, you know, and I think they made a good choice with it.
During protesting, veterans named the memorial the Black Gash.
So I think there's some universal sort of reactions to the piece that will still be the same sort of psychological reaction to it. And I think it was always meant so that it is a timeline of a specific war, but in essence it is about maybe the universal loss of people in a war.
I could see why they call it that, but I've never heard it before.
There's always people that are critical of everything. For example, you know, there was a lot of complaining the fact that it took too long for them to build the World War II memorial. You know, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a certain percentage of people that are going to complain and not like things. And you know, that's just life. That's just the way it is.
We may hold soldiers in a higher regard, but the disrespect shown to the memorial was nothing in comparison to the way the soldiers were treated.
I think they could be treated better with the way that they're not getting their money from the government, or from what I read. And they could be put into better care than just kind of put out there to do their own thing, and then the government just watches them from a distance.
I think Vietnam veterans are getting the respect these days that they should have gotten a long time ago. Well, a lot of people forget, you know, when a lot of these people come home, they were treated bad, especially on the East Coast and the West Coast. Not so much in the core of the country, but those people that come in through the East Coast and the West Coast, yeah, I think they were disrespected and they were treated badly. What people have to remember, the soldier only does what he's told to do. You know, your complaint is not with him, it's with whoever sent him there. So I think that in some cases they were treated badly. When I come back through Fort Knox and was discharged back out into Indiana, you know, and nobody ever treated me bad. It's just a matter of where you were and the time.
Even still today, many are offended by the memorial and many others in its vein. During the 2011 Occupy movement, veterans gathered to protest the similarly designed New York Vietnam War Memorial. An image that surfaced on Reddit of children climbing on the memorial did the rounds on major news outlets, sparking outrage once again.
I think memorials help groups of people heal, you know, I really do. I think, to me, the Vietnam Memorial was a nice gesture as far as trying to heal all the controversy and all the hard feelings towards that war.
A good way to remind us of what happened and who was risking their lives for them, especially with important things like wars and tragedies where people passed away.
There's 11 people from my unit that's on that wall, so sometime in my life it's my intent to go there.
Though these are just some of the opinions, a memorial is a very personal matter, and no one group has a set opinion on the topic. The real tragedy is that something that is designed to heal could cause so much pain for those victimized by the Vietnam War.
A friend of mine, when we left for Vietnam, he didn't have an apartment or anything, so he gave me his jump boots, and we didn't need jump boots in Vietnam, we were using jungle boots. And he asked if I'd keep them at my house, and I said, yeah, sure. And he was killed in Vietnam, and it is my goal one of these days, I have kept those jump boots all these years, and it's my goal one of these days to take those to the Vietnam Memorial and place them by his name. I'm tearing up across your face, moved us to the light, tough eyes your name, it's something famous.